What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next movie review video, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that really hit it big when it came out in 1999. Box office-wise, it hit big time. One of the most anticipated movies of all time, I'd put it in. I put this movie in the list of most anticipated films of all time because this was the start. This was a return back to a franchise that had made its last movie in the 1980s. And the movie I'm going to be talking about that I'm going to review today for this video is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And before I get into the review, I'm going to go into all of the Star Wars movies. I'm going to be doing them in order by episode. So I actually did get to see Episode 7. I saw Episode 7 yesterday, as a matter of fact. I will review that video when it comes around, when I do the first 6. So from Episode 1 to Episode 7, I will be doing reviews on all of the movies. Now, I revisited Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, after a long time. I had not watched the movie in years. It had been a long time anyway. But I watched it yesterday, The Phantom Menace, and without further ado, I will tell you what I thought of the movie, what it's about, stuff like that. So let's get right into it. The Phantom Menace is about this is the events before the original trilogy. Now, the first 3 episodes are prequels of the original trilogy, for those of you who don't know, and there probably aren't a lot of people that don't know. So, because Star Wars is just a big property. I mean, huge, monumental, successful franchise Star Wars is. So, with Episode 1, we get started with a political battle between the Trade Federation and the Republic. The Republic as in the Republic that came around before another huge empire came into play. So, the Trade Federation invades the Republic. And they're causing a lot of trouble for the Republic and things like that. So there's a lot of strife and conflict between these two parties. And the Trade Federation decides to invade Naboo and try to force Naboo's ruler, whose name is Queen Amidala, to sign a peace treaty, or to sign a treaty legitimizing the takeover. Is basically how that goes around. Anyway, 2 Jedi warriors, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, are tasked with resolving peace between the Trade Federation and the Republic and Naboo. You know, they're tasked with doing that, and so they figure out that there's more to it than just trying to get peace. They have to save Naboo from the evil takeover of the Trade Federation. So they have to go out and save the day. And along the way they come up with the one guy, the one kid, Anakin Skywalker, who possesses true powers of the Force. He is, quote-unquote, the chosen one out of the whole... he's the chosen one out of the Jedi. And he will bring peace and order to the Force. Balance, peace, order, whatever you want to call it, to the Force. And so he is the chosen one, the guy they are tabbing to really legitimize the Jedi Empire. So that's another story. They also have to deal with the Sith Empire and its resurgence. So there are a lot of different storylines intertwining into this movie for sure. Um, I First of all, I'll get into the stuff I didn't like. Or no, I'll get into the stuff what I did like about the movie. Liam Neeson plays Qui-Gon Jinn. So, well, first of all, the cast. Liam Neeson plays Qui-Gon Jinn. Ewan McGregor plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. Natalie Portman plays Queen Padme Amidala. Jake Lloyd plays young Anakin Skywalker. Ian McDiarmid plays Emperor Palpatine. And those are pretty much your main people. Kenny Baker plays R2-D2. R2-D2 obviously is a big part of the Star Wars universe. Frank Oz plays Yoda, Master Yoda of the Jedi. And the head of the Jedi, pretty much. And so, those are your pretty big main cast members. Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn was very good. He did a really good job as Qui-Gon Jinn in this movie. You believed him as Qui-Gon Jinn. Liam Neeson is just a great actor anyway. A lot of people forget that before his foray into action movies like Taken and Run All Night and those action flicks, he was a dramatic actor. He spurred there was some action in between the dramatic stuff as well. And Liam Neeson did that. Ewan McGregor, he does a good job in the movie. I think I can't complain too much. At first, when I saw him, I was like, I don't know about the acting, but the more I got into it, the more I saw that he did the right kind of acting for the role he played as Obi-Wan. So, I didn't mind him. Natalie Portman was pretty much played, if you really want to consider it, played two characters. She played a handmaiden named, well, actually, she only played one. They gave the illusion that she played two characters. She really did play two. It was Padme. She played a handmaiden named Padme, a handmaiden of Queen Amidala's, who actually turns out to be Queen Amidala herself. And so Natalie Portman essentially plays two different characters. One character she played really good, one character not so much. The character that she played really well was Padme. I liked the performance. You know, she did a good job in that. But Queen Amidala, you could be put to sleep by her acting as Queen Amidala. It wasn't that great. It just was like, wow, boring. The way she spoke and all that sort of thing, it was boring, and that kind of turned me off a bit. There are a lot of people that said that Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker was bad as Anakin Skywalker, one of the worst actors in the movie. I disagree with that, because he did everything you would expect to do. In my opinion, he did everything you should have done. He did everything right in the role of Anakin Skywalker. He was energetic. He had a lot of fun. Jake Lloyd, 9 years old, you know, a 9-year-old, I think, pretty young. As a child actor, he did a good job. I like Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. He displayed a lot of energy and a lot of optimism for the role, and he just looked like he had the time of his life with this movie. So I like some of the positives. I really like Liam Neeson as Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon Jinn, and you can throw in the actor who really steals the show to me is Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. Plus, I really like some of the scenes. There's a pod racing scene in the movie that's okay, but the scene that really grabbed my attention was Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul and the lightsaber battle. Darth Maul is a Sith Lord, is a Sith apprentice. These three battling it out. It was epic. It was a really good lightsaber battle, and it was my favorite moment of the movie. Like I said, the pod racing scene was okay. It was drawn out a bit too much for my taste, but it was okay. But now some stuff that was wrong with the movie, and I start right off with Jar Jar Binks. He was awful. He was awful as Jar Jar Binks, the guy who plays him. The guy who plays him is a guy named Ahmed Best. Plays Jar Jar Binks. Wow. I'm speechless. He's awful as Jar Jar Binks. Not funny at all. Not redeeming at all. He was just thrown in there. He was just thrown in there to increase toy sales, pretty much. My biggest issue was he was a bad actor, yes. That was a bad character to put in this movie. But he didn't fit with the movie. He just didn't fit. The Phantom Menace wanted to go with a more serious, dark tone, in my opinion. I mean, actually, really, they wanted to go with... This movie didn't know what it wanted to be. On one hand, you get dark and serious. On the other hand, you get light and funny. They combine the two together, but you don't get a sense of... You don't really... It kind of leaves the audience confused a little bit, in a way, I think, because you've got the dark and... you've got the dark and gritty type Star Wars that, that I think George Lucas wanted to create. This movie's directed by George Lucas, by the way. So you get the dark feel that George Lucas has in this movie. But then again, you get the light side, the light and dopey and stupid side with Jar Jar Binks. Ooh. So he was by far the worst part of this movie. He was terrible. Not funny. He's annoying as hell. The character's just annoying as hell. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, there were some other side characters that didn't fit in this universe as well. My biggest gripe is that this movie not really know what it wanted to do. I think it went more towards more dark and serious, but you add the light and funny stuff of it, the light and goofy aspect of it into the dark and serious, and it leaves a little bit of confusion to... I think it left a little bit of confusion to the audience. I could be wrong, but just didn't fit. If you would have had it dark and gritty, just dark and gritty, I would have been okay with it. And I understand that Star Wars is a combination of both. You have the dark aspects, and then you have the light and funny aspects. Well, the light and funny aspects of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace weren't that good at all. Then you just had the dark and gritty. So, it worked. This worked in the original trilogy. It absolutely did. It just didn't really work in this movie, to me. But overall, I actually did enjoy the film for what it was. I think it's a solid movie. It is by no means a great movie at all. It's not a great movie, and it doesn't hold a candle to the original trilogy, but it's a solid watch. It's a pretty solid watch. There's some good scenes in there. You know, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn is a big highlight. The lightsaber battle between Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul, that's a good scene. So, you have that. Overall, I'm going to give this movie 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked the movie. It was a good watch. There were some very good parts to this. Film, but I have to take off for Jar Jar Binks. Did not fit in this universe, and the light and funny aspects of this movie weren't that great. To kind of go along with the dark and gritty aspect of Star Wars. The light and funny just wasn't really light and funny. So, those are my gripes with the movie, but overall, I enjoyed it. I had a pretty good time with Star Wars Episode 1, and I would recommend to see it, definitely, for some of those great moments. So anyway, that is it for my review on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Coming up will be Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So that is it for this video. D-Rock 1992 out.